Finding the angle between two vectors. Alright, so if theta is the angle between two non-zero vectors, u and v, and theta is between 0 and 80 degrees, then cosine theta equals the dot product of u and v divided by the magnitude of u times the magnitude of v. So this is what we use to find theta. Okay, so it's just the dot product of the two vectors, and then we find the magnitude of this vector u and the magnitude of this vector v, and those go on the denominator multiplied together. And then once we calculate this, well, we'll just do the inverse cosine of that, and that will give us theta. Alright, so let's look at this. Find the angle between the two vectors. So let's just draw it out so we can see what we're finding. Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. So if I draw these vectors 1, 2, okay, there's this vector. This is vector 1, 2. And then negative 6, 3. Well, there's negative 6, 3. That's what we're finding right there, theta. We're finding the angle between the two vectors. Okay, so remember from our formula, cosine, and let me go ahead and do this too. I'm going to represent vector u as vector 1, 2, and vector v, I'm going to represent it with negative 6, 3. You don't have to do that, but I'm going to do it for the sake of this video. So now let's write down our formula. Okay, that's the dot product of u and v over the magnitude of u times the magnitude of v. Okay, so first, well, let's find the dot product. Okay, so the dot product, go ahead and erase this, get it out of the way. Okay, so remember that's this times this, so 1 times negative 6 plus 2 times 3. And that's going to be 0. Okay, and then the magnitude, and really, you know, I wanted to show you this. Really, we don't have to go any further. Okay, we don't have to go any further because we have the cosine of theta. Okay, cosine theta is equal to the dot product, in which we got 0, over the magnitude of these. Well, it's going to be some number times some other number. So it doesn't matter what these numbers are. This is the cosine theta equals 0. Okay, so theta is the inverse cosine of 0. So theta is 90 degrees. And that's your answer. Okay, so if the dot product comes out to 0, then you can stop. Okay, you don't need to find the magnitudes. Okay, so now let's work the problem again, and this time we'll change it up a little bit. We'll change one of the vectors. Let's just keep vector 1, 2 the same, and let's change this one, I guess, to say, I don't know, maybe negative 4, 7, something like that. Let's just do that, negative 4, 7. Alright, so once again, I'm going to do vector u. I'm going to let it be 1, 2. Vector v, I'm going to let that be negative 4, 7. Okay, so now let's do the dot product of u and v. Okay, because remember our formula, cosine theta is the dot product of u and v over the magnitude of u times the magnitude of v. And so the dot product, which is 1, 2, and negative 4, 7. So that's 1 times negative 4, this times this, plus 2 times 7. And that's going to be negative 4 plus 14, which is 10. So that's the dot product. Now let's find the magnitude of u. Well, remember, the magnitude of a vector is just this squared plus this squared, a squared plus 2 squared. So that's going to be the square root of 5. And then the magnitude of v, well, that's just the square root of negative 4 squared plus 7 squared. So that's 16 plus 49 is 65. So that's the square root of 65. That's the magnitude of v. Alright, so now we have cosine theta is the dot product, which is 10, over the magnitude of u times the magnitude of v. Okay. And so we get cosine theta equals, now punching this in your calculator, you need to be careful. So we'll have 10 divided by, and if you're typing this all in at once, when you do the 10 divided by, you need to open up a parenthesis so you can put the square root of 5 times square root of 65 in parentheses. So that's going to be the square root of 5 times the square root of 65, and make sure you close the parentheses, and you should get 0.554700196. And so I do the inverse cosine of that, and I get 56.31 degrees. We'll round it to 2 decimals. And that's the dot product. And you can see just a rough sketch of this. You can see 1, 2. That would probably be about right there. And then negative 4, 7. That'd probably be up here somewhere. You can see it's about right there. And so that would be your theta, which is 56.31 degrees. Okay, so I hope this video helped. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. Thanks.